I'm 63 now, and if there's one thing I've earned in this life, it's hindsight. Not money, not fame, and certainly not perfect health, but insight. My name is Walter Jennings, and I've lived a life filled with triumph, heartbreak, hard-earned wisdom, and more than a few mistakes. If you're in your 30s and reading this, let me offer you something I wish I had when I was your age. Perspective. I grew up in a small town in Kentucky, the kind of place where everyone knows your name and your business. My father was a mechanic, my mother a schoolteacher. We didn't have much, but we had each other. I went to community college, then joined the Air Force, and later landed a job in construction. Life was simple, then it got complicated. That's the way it works. When I turned 30, I thought I knew everything. I had a stable job, a beautiful wife named Linda, and 2 little boys who looked up to me like I was Superman. I had dreams, sure, but I also had bills. I buried a lot of my passion under responsibilities. That was my first lesson. Don't forget who you are while trying to be everything for everyone else. I worked hard. Too hard. I missed birthdays, dance recitals, and football games. I always told myself I was doing it for them. That someday it would all be worth it. But someday doesn't always come. My wife once told me, "Walter, your kids won't remember how clean the garage was. They'll remember whether you were in the stands." She was right, but I didn't listen until years later. At 33, my best friend Mitchell died in a motorcycle accident. He was reckless, sure, but full of life. He was always chasing experiences, while I was chasing stability. His death shook me. It reminded me that time isn't promised. That the people you love can disappear in the blink of an eye. So, lesson number 2. Love loud and often. Say the things you're too proud to say. Don't wait until the eulogy to express how you feel. By the time I turned 35, Linda and I were arguing more than laughing. We still loved each other, but we didn't know how to say it anymore. We were 2 people sharing a house but not a life. I remember sitting on the edge of our bed one night, realizing I didn't know the woman beside me. That's lesson number 3. Never stop dating your partner. Love isn't something you find. It's something you build and rebuild every day. At 37, I got laid off. The company I gave 15 years to downsized, and just like that I was back at square one. I was embarrassed. Felt like a failure. I drank too much, slept too little, and pushed everyone away. But that season of loss taught me one of the most valuable things in my life. Your job is not your identity. Who you are when everything is stripped away is what matters most. I picked myself up with the help of Linda and my kids. I took odd jobs, mowing lawns, painting houses, until I found something steady. I learned humility in those years. I learned to ask for help, to accept kindness, and to offer it in return. If you're in your 30s and you feel behind, please know this. Life isn't a race. It's a climb. And everyone's mountain is different. In my 40s, things got better. My kids were growing into teenagers. Linda and I found new rhythm. We laughed more, traveled some, and made it through the hard times by choosing each other every morning. I became a manager at a new construction firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave me pride. And I finally started saving, something I should have done 20 years earlier. Lesson learned. Invest early, even if it's a little. Time is more powerful than money. At 48, my son Kevin was deployed overseas. Every day he was gone, I regretted every moment I hadn't spent with him when he was younger. I started writing him letters. Long ones. Stories, advice, jokes. When he came home safely 2 years later, he hugged me and said, "I kept every letter, Dad." That was the day I truly understood the impact of words. When I turned 50, my doctor told me I had high blood pressure and early signs of diabetes. Years of eating fast food, drinking soda, and ignoring exercise had caught up with me. I changed everything cold turkey. It wasn't easy. But I dropped the soda, started walking every day, and cut back on red meat. 10 years later, I'm still here. Please take care of your body now, not when it's too late. At 55, Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was stage 2 and we were terrified. But we faced it together. Chemo, surgeries, sleepless nights, we got through it. She beat it. And I never stopped holding her hand. That season taught me the value of presence. Just being there. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Just be beside the one who's hurting. Now here I am, 63. I wake up with aches in my knees, but I also wake up next to the same woman I married over 40 years ago. We have 3 grandkids now. They call me Pops. I fish on Saturdays, read on Sundays, and volunteer at the local youth center on Wednesdays. My life isn't what I dreamed of at 30, but it's full. Deeply full. Rich in ways I never expected. If you're in your 30s, let me leave you with this. Protect your peace. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Surround yourself with people who nourish you, not drain you. Learn to say no without guilt. Set boundaries, not walls. Forgive not for them but for yourself. Let go of grudges. They're heavy and useless. Stay curious. Keep learning. Read books. Listen more than you speak. Put your phone down. Life isn't happening on a screen. It's in the laugh of a child, the smell of rain, the hand you hold during a storm. Don't just chase success. Define it for yourself. Success isn't always the corner office. Sometimes it's being able to pick up your kids from school. Sometimes it's having dinner with your spouse without checking your email. Sometimes it's peace of mind. If you have dreams, chase them. Not recklessly, but with intention. Don't wait until retirement to travel, to write, to learn that instrument. Do it now while you have the energy, the spirit, and the passion. Life doesn't come with a warning label, it just comes, and then one day it goes. I have regrets, of course. I regret the time I lost with my children. I regret the fear that kept me from trying certain things. I regret waiting too long to speak up for myself. But I've also made peace with those regrets. I use them as fuel to live better, to love deeper. So if you're in your 30s, don't wait for life to teach you the hard way. Take it from a man who's lived through the chapters you're only beginning to write. Love hard. Be kind. Work honestly. Save early. Do well. Forgive quickly. And most importantly, never stop becoming who you're meant to be. Because one day you'll be 63. And when you look back, I hope you'll smile. Not because it was perfect, but because you lived it fully.